So, welcome back. We are making a relationship entity sets for a university ER diagram with professor, project, grad.
PPT not visible, sir.
Yeah. I will put the screen sharing. I think it is. Yeah. Are you able to see the PPT? Please answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So now we have some relationships. One, we are going to call it as working. Two, we are going to call it as managers. Three, we are going to call it as supervisor. Fourth, we are going to call it as major. Now, what was the conditions we have to look into? The first condition is each project is managed by one professor. Each project is managed by one professor. So assume we are going to take a CSE department. So in our CSE department, assume we are going to have 6 professors. So all the 6 professors need not manage a project. The condition was one professor, he can manage a project. So how we are going to make a dependency relation was, we are going to give a bold line and we are going to give a arrow mark here that it shows that this specific professor, he is going to manage the project. This specific professor, he is going to manage the project. We are going to make an implication. So for that, we are going to assume a arrow mark, and that arrow mark we are going to give it as a bold here. Next one. Each project is worked by more than one professor. Is my PPT visible? Excuse me, is my PPT visible? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my presence need not be okay. Fine. So, next condition was each project is worked by more than one professor. So now what we are going to assume, there is a professor who is going to manage. Okay, the previous condition is taken up. Okay, that we will that we have satisfied. Next line. While doing a project, there can be a principal investigator, there can be a co-principal investigator. We can have a principal investigator and we can have a co-principal investigators. So if such is a case is going to happen, then what we can tell was more than one professor can be in a project. More than one faculty can be in a project. So that is what we are going to give it as work in relation. That is what we are going to call here as a work-in relation. So now, in general, let us look what this diagram is going to take it up. So now we can see there was a graduate who is going to have a major, and that major we can say it can be a CSC major, it can be a IT major, it can be a triple major, or it can be a ECE major. And how he is going to choose? He is going to choose it from a department. See, a graduate, he can do either from a CSC or he can do it from a IT. He can't take 2 majors at a time, right? So that is why we are going to make it specific, and that specific nature we are going to give it with a arrow mark, and that arrow mark we are going to give it with a bold line. That arrow mark we are going to give it with a bold line. So that is how we are going to build a conceptual design. In conceptual design, we are above the ternary relationship. That is more than more than 3 tables are going to have, and we are going to build up a relationship between these tables. Now, let us see a library ER diagram here. Now, let us see a library ER diagram here. So, in this library ER diagram, now let us see what are all the different entity sets. What are all the different entity sets? One, I can call it as book. Two, I can call it as author. Three, I can call it as paper. Fourth, we can call it as periodicals. 5, we are going to call it as user. 6, we are going to call it as publisher. 7, we are going to call it as tags. 8, we can call it as message. So these items, we are going to call them 1 to 8. We are going to call them as entity sets. Now, ID, unique identifier, title, year, ISBN number for a book, pages. These items we are going to call it as attributes. We are going to call them as attributes. And has, we are going to call it as relationship. And if this relationship is going to have an attribute there, then we are going to call it as a relationship set. So now we can see that a person, he is going to borrow something from a library. He is going to borrow a book from a library. That means the student, he should have a ID, he should have his name, he should have some user ID followed by password or an email. Then he can borrow a book. So the relationship between the first entity set and the relationship between the next entity set of an user is going to be a borrow here. So a borrow is a relationship between a user and the book. Similarly, the student or an user not only borrow a book, he can borrow some periodical. How is this periodical designed? This periodical is designed with a periodical ID, a title, when a periodical is going to arrive, what was the volume, and the periodical is going to have some identifier, that is ISBN number. Similarly, if I am going to deal with some periodical, nor I am going to deal with a book, it is going to have a publisher. So it is going to have a publisher. Who is a publisher? A person who is going to print a textbook, a person who is going to print a periodical, we call him as a publisher. For example, if we are going to take your prescribed textbooks, now your prescribed textbook, you can mention that this belongs to Wiley textbook, this belongs to Tata McGraw-Hill book textbook, this it is going to belong to some Sham series. In this way, we are going to say this person is called as a publisher. So every publisher is going to have his identifier. He is going to identify with his name. Similarly, every book is going to have a author. Every book is going to have a author. For example, if let us take our DBMX textbook. So the author was Professor Raghuramakrishna Gharke. So now the author, he is going to have his identifier, author, he is going to have his name, and author, he is going to have his own data set. He is going to have his own database or a table, or we are going to call it as an entity set here. So his entire collection, it is going to represent as a block. And how he is going to relate? He is going to relate with a book. He is going to have his identity towards a book. So that is what we are going to mention as has. And next we are going to point it as one. What is that one related? One, we are going to say that every book is going to have one author. Every book is going to have one author. We are going to mention. Next one. So a person, he is going to borrow something from a library, we are going to mention that it is going to assume that the person can borrow a textbook, Similarly, he can return a textbook. These are the major activities in the library management system. Now, he needs some information, he needs some communication with the library. For that, we are going to include a messaging module, and message is identified with a number and it is going to identify it with a text, and it is going to deal directly with the user. So to whom this message we are going to represent? We are going to represent this message towards the user. So that is what we are going to put it as a has relationship. Similarly, we are going to call it as tagging. So what does this tag mention? I have a textbook series which belongs to DBMS. Similarly, I am going to have a textbook titles, they belongs to some operating system. Similarly, I have a textbook series which belongs to Java. Now, what is the tag indicates? So, tag, it is going to indicate the category. It is going to indicate the category. What was that category we are going to mention? It can belong to a category called as Java textbooks. It can belong to a category called as some Java textbooks, or it can belongs to some DBMX textbooks, nor it can belong to the operating system textbooks. So we are going to mention what is a tag, what was the value we are going to describe. So these are all going to be part of a library management system. Now, let us look into one more case study towards the conceptual design, and this case study we are going to call it as airline reservation ER diagram. We are going to call it as airline reservation ER diagram. So, who will be the major entities for an airline system? One, the providers of the airline system. Two, we are going to say the number of flights, the flight details. Three, the passengers who want to make the services of the airline reservation system. Fourth, the ticket booking agencies who can make reservations to the users to the respective flights. So we call them as travel agents, and all together they are going to be dependent on an entity, on a relationship set, and the name of a relationship set we are going to call it as reservations. We are going to call it as a reservations. So we meant with different entity sets, one called as an airline, two called as a flights, three called as a passengers, fourth we are going to call it as travel agents. And all these holistically they are going to work with a relationship set. That relationship set it is going to call here as a reservation. Next one. I am working with an airline reservation system. Now, what will be the flight? What will be the flight, or how we are going to describe the flight? How we are going to describe the flight? Flight is going to be identified with a flight number followed by flight arrival time, flight departure time, then where this flight is going to start and where this flight is going to depart, where this is going to end, we are going to mention it. So these are all the basic entities towards the flight. So flight it is going to identify with a number from where the flight is going to start to where it is going to be reached to the destination. Then what was when it is going to start, the arrival, the departure time, and when it is going to arrive, that is we are going to the destination party, we are going to call that one as an arrival time. Next one, we are going to say airlines. So when we are going to say an airline, every airline is going to be identified with a code. Similarly, whether it is an Indian Airlines, whether it is a Gulf Airlines, whether it is an American Airlines. So you need to identify whether it is a SpiceJet. So we need to identify the name of that agency, and that is what we are going to call. Similarly, headquarters, the address of the flight. So the company who has made that flight, and what was assume I'm going to call it as SpiceJet. So SpiceJet is the name of an airline. Assume its office was in Bangalore. So we are going to call that address as a Bangalore address. And every people, I mean, who are going to make a SpiceJet, assume if we are assuming like that, they are going to be uniquely identified, and that is what we are going to call here as an airline code. So we represent this airline entity set, and this entity set we are going to put it with airline code, name, and headquarter agencies, etc. Next one. Next one, we do have passenger information. We do have passenger information. So in this passenger information, we are going to pose up with the number of passengers, the name of a passenger, the address of a passenger, the gender of a passenger, the age of a passenger. So all these details are needed so that he can have a seat in the flight. He can have a reservation in the flight. We need to get the passenger details. So that passenger details we are going to call number, name, address, sex, and age, etc. Now, the people they are going to apply for reservation, they are going to reach to a travel agent. So these are the third party people. So these travel agent people, they are going to book the tickets for the aeroplanes. So these people, we are going to call him as with a contact person, his contact name, his contact address, his mobile, and his code we are going to take up. So he is going to make a reservation. Okay, fine. We have taken up the airline, we have taken up the flight, we chosen it. Now, what will be the entities when we are going to purchase the ticket? So it is going to be set up with date, the seat number, the crew members of the flight, and the flight name. So all these details, it is going to build up when it is going to raise a ticket to the passenger. Now, there is one more interesting database, and this interesting database will be the guideline for you to take to Unit 2 and Unit 3. This is the only database, these are the only data schema what we are going to hereby use it for Unit 2 and Unit 3. So if we want to take up Unit 2 and Unit 3, we should have the basic concepts of this. We should have the basic concepts of these, and we do have these table names called as sailor, followed by boat, followed by reserves. So using these three words only, we are going to build the SQL queries. We are going to build the SQL queries using these three tables. Similarly, the lab exercises, what we are going to do, lab 1 to lab 5 or lab 6, everything we are going to deal with these three data sets. With these three databases only, we are going to take up. Now, what are the three databases we are going to use? One, we are going to call it as a sailor, and sailor, he is going to have a sailor identity, which it is composed of an integer. Next, we are going to have sailor name, and sailor is going to have his rating, and sailor he is going to have his age. So these are the factors. One, we are going to call it as sailor ID, then sailor name, sailor rating, followed by age. So here I can see a database 22, 29, 31, 32, 58, 64, 71, 74, 85, 95. These items, they are called as SIDs. These we are going to call it as SIDs here. So these SIDs we are going to represent with this numeric value, that is a integer. Next, we have sailor names. Sailor name, you can see Dustin, Andy, Rusty, Jobra, Horato, Art, Bob, we are going to call it as sailor names. And every sailor, based on his performance, we will give a rating, right? You give 4-star rating, you give 5-star rating for the services. Similarly, the sailor, based on how he is going to ride his boat, so he is going to have his rank. He is going to have his rank, that is 10th rank, 7th rank, 8th rank. In this way, first rank, he is going to have his rating here, and that rating we are going to mention. So Rusty is going to have his rating as high, that is 10 rating people are going to give. Then we are going to have his age here. So we can say Luber. Luber is 55 years, 5 months, 6 months old. We are going to give his age in a real value. Similarly, sailor, he is going to ride a boat. Fine, that is good. Now, what is the boat name? Boat name was Interlake. What is the boat color? The boat color was blue and red. Okay, there is little ambiguity. I can say why Interlake is blue and red, but it is purely identified with a unique identifier, that is 101 and 102. We are going to call it as primary keys. So the boat identified with 101, it can have a same name, but the color is different. 102, it can have a same name, but the color is different. Since it is going to have its primary key as different, we can treat it as two different entities. Next, we are going to have a clipper followed by marine. So, which it is going to have an identifier 104 and color was red. Now, I have three entities. One, boat ID. Two, boat name. Three, I am going to have it as color. So, how I am going to create the table? That is ID, name and color. Color, it is made up of string. Boat name, it is made up of string. And ID, it is made up of integer. Next one, sailors are ready, boats are ready, but sailors should reserve a boat. If a person want to go for a riding, he has to take that boat. How he can take that boat? He has to reserve it. Assume you are going to a library and you are want to you want to borrow a book from the library, the DBMX textbook. That means you are going to reserve the textbook. You are going to reserve that textbook. So then only you are going to get the textbook. Similarly, you are visiting a movie and you are taking an online reservation. You have taken a ticket for a movie. That means you have made a reservation to the visit to the movie and thereby to watch a movie. Similarly, the sailors, they have to ride the boat, means they have to go for a reservation. Until unless they reserve the boat, they cannot book the boat. They cannot book the boat. So now I am going to have a reserves here, and that reserve, it is a composition of primary key 1, that is SID, and it is a composition of another primary called as BID. So BID, it is borrowed from boat. SID, it is borrowed from sailor, and it is going to have its unique identity called as date. It is going to have its unique identity called as date. So now we are going to build up a ER diagram. This was your lab exercise 1, that is ER diagram. First, I have taken a table called as sailor. Next, I am going to take a boat. Next, we are going to have reserves. So reserves, we are going to call it as relationship set. Reserves, we are going to call it as relationship set. Sailor, we are going to call it as we are going to call it as entity set. And boat, we are going to call it as entity set. Boat ID, boat name, color, we are going to call it as attributes. Ship ID, S name, we are going to call it as attributes. So SID and boat ID, we are going to call them as primary keys. And SID is used in reserves, boat ID is used in reserves. So at this case, now SID and BID, they are going to call it as reference keys. They are called as reference keys. So making this reference key, we are going to call it as foreign key. And the only entity inside the reserves, we are going to call it as date. So we do have three tables, that is sailor, boat, and reserves, and they do have their own databases as sailor database, boat database, and reserve database. And the relationship among them, we are going to put it in ER diagram. We are putting the schema here, that is ship is going to be identified with the sailor. It is going to identified with the sailor ID followed by sailor name, rating, and age. Reserves, it is going to have a relationship with the date, and it takes both SID and BID. Boat, it is going to be identified with a boat ID, boat name, and color. So in our next class, we will have an extensive discussion of the same data set, because the same databases we are going to use it. We are going to use it for the upcoming classes. Okay.